Conversations and Cognac.
You know? Nice afternoon delicacy.
Yeah, the fact that I haven't eaten anything today.
You want to pour you the big one and give me this baby ass?
Listen, trying to be a gentleman here, you know?
What conversation? That's going to be a short conversation, no.
There you go. Cheers.
What up, though, Detroit? It's your girl, Rachel B. with Condor Hospitality and K-Rose Detroit. We are here for another episode of Poured, and I have one of the best in the game here, one of Detroit's finest. We got Taurell Bush in the building. Go ahead, sir. Introduce us to who you are and how you here.
What's going on? Taurell Bush. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. I am the regional portfolio ambassador for Bacardi. My hands in a little bit of all the hospitality workings around the city. I'm also the beverage director for hospitality included.
Awesome. So first of all, like I said before, it's great to meet you in person because our paths have literally crossed like this.
Over and over again. Yeah.
So, no, I love your work and everything you're doing. So I really love everybody's origin story. So what has been your journey and how did you get here to this space and where you are in your career today?
Definitely have a wild origin story, but I kind of been in hospitality all my life, working. My first job, my mom's best friend who in Detroit, and that's your auntie. My auntie owned a bakery, and that was the first gig I ever had. I worked the register for her. She's like, you good with people, talk to the people, whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So during winter breaks and stuff, I worked there. I worked at Herman Anderson Marina earlier on, doing the deck boy, pool boy type of stuff, a gopher basically, a server type of deal on the deck. And then when I went to college, shortly after being down in Cleveland, I got into the actual restaurant industry, hospitality industry, and kind of worked my way up. I worked in a place called Maggiano's, which all of us know and love. You know?
I know.
At one point in time, that was fine dining to some of us. And I had a general manager named Terry Gibbons, and he would never let me get behind the bar. He was just like, you're not ready yet. And this guy named Phil was the lead bartender, and I took Phil out one Friday night and got him drunk with all my college friends, knowing that Phil's ass was not going to show up on Saturday morning. And I got to my shift early Saturday morning. I set up my station, started setting up the bar, and it was about to open up, and Terry looked at me, and I had this shit-eating grin on my face, and he was like, fine, go ahead, get behind the bar. And I've been on the bar ever since. Just working my way up in different places. I opened up 2 cocktail bars out in Cleveland, and then during the pandemic, before the pandemic, I started working with a chef named Chef Nikki. She runs a concept called the High End Affair. She also started doing private, she was a private chef for The Roots and then Dave Chappelle. Okay. She brought me into that fold, and then during the, most famously, during the pandemic, I was Chappelle's bartender for the Chappelle, Chappelle Summer Camp.
Oh, nice.
And from there, did all the private events, his birthday and things like that. And I think from that moment and getting the content from that, I got on the radar of a few people. I was already back here, moved back home to Detroit, and a gentleman by the name of Colin Appiaseria, who's the godfather of advocacy at Bacardi, gave me a call, and the rest is history. I moved away from being behind the stick after that, and just started on this journey of trying to empower people who are behind the stick and giving them opportunities and trying to highlight Detroit as much as possible in the process.
Absolutely. I love it. First of all, I love that story because if it ain't nothing the Detroiter know how to do, it's a good setup. Yeah. Okay. We got the finesse game on lock, okay?
You got to.
No, that's super amazing. I would say also after that, as someone that has been in a leadership position and going from bartender to bar manager to managing a portfolio, what has been your biggest, I would say, obstacle or biggest learning experience that you've had with being in leadership versus being behind the bar?
Being behind the bar, there is a level of hospitality and a level of engaging with your guests and your customer, where you always want them to feel welcome. You always want them, I don't want to say I always want them to feel right, but you always want them to feel like they are the star of the show. And as you move up into management, you realize that you being everybody's friend and being nice to everybody isn't always like the best thing for anybody in the situation. And then even moving along this side, where now it's partnering with bars for different things and helping people do pop-ups and things, you have to have a level of, I want to say, like boundaries, if you will, or a level of like structure, standards that you withhold, and that sometimes rubs people the wrong way, but it's in everybody's best benefit. I think being a bartender, you are definitely in a position where you are giving a service in hopes that the transaction happens and they are happy with their service and they're tipping you. In the position I'm in now, like, I'm helping you better yourself. I'm helping you get more money out of this thing. Like, I'm the supplier helping you sell my product, but at the same time, I'm teaching you along the way, if that makes sense. So I think the biggest obstacle is just like the transition from always being a level of service to like demanding a level of professionalism from people.
I completely agree with that. I've been on both sides of the coin, and yes, that is the difference. Transitioning from just worrying about, making your tips and trying to have fun and providing a fun experience to having structure. And I do think that is something that a lot of people don't see or don't recognize within our industry, because they look at bartending, anything bar related, nightlife related, they think it's just like a party job. And they don't realize like the business side of it, the structure of it, the way that profitability is even, factored into all of these parties and all of these good times that people experience on the other side, but a lot goes into it. So no,
I'll never forget having a conversation with an industry homie and good friend, Chef Tay, and he used to do a thing called exchange with the homie Justice, who used to be a bartender, and we were all having this conversation, and they were like, we're good at this, so we make it look easy. But just because something is easy doesn't mean it's simple. And the reason why I made it look easy, and the reason why you're paying me what you're paying me, is because of all the time, effort, and years of experience I have to be able to deliver this thing to you in a easy fashion. But it doesn't, just because it's easy doesn't make it simple. And just because it's simple doesn't make it easy. And I think a lot of times people see our jobs and see that it's fun and see that you're having a good time and look at it like, oh, I can do that. Or like, oh, I have some money, I can open up a bar. And like, you have no idea the back end. Oh my God. Like, you never know how much it takes to like be able to deliver that service and deliver that experience in an easy fashion.
Absolutely. I would say, as someone who has worked outside of Detroit and, traveled as much as you have, what would you say makes the Detroit hospitality scene different than all of your other travels and other places you've been?
I say this about Detroit in general. It's just that everybody here has main character energy. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Everybody here is a celebrity. Everybody here is a superstar. And it's weird because being in other places, like being in Atlanta or being in LA, where people react to superstars, and I'm like, why is everybody so excited? Because I'm used to everybody just feeling that way. Like,
and there's no celebrity in Detroit. We are the celebrity.
We are celebrity. And I feel like there's a level of like power and respect that comes with that, especially in the hospitality industry, right? Like I think sometimes in other cities, there could be a level of like meekness, or a level, servitude doesn't mean servant, especially not here in Detroit. We're not going for that. No. So like, if you're coming to my bar, you're coming to get this experience from me, and I think that's the energy that most bartenders have, and I think that's what like separates us from a lot of places.
I agree with that one. We are the superstars, okay? Sure. Welcome to the D. Yeah. Awesome. And what is your favorite spirit? When you drinking and you say you want you a good shot, a good neat pour.
It's all about, it's situational for me.
Situational taste.
It's very situational for me. Everybody knows my sister, who actually bartends here at this place that we're at Parlay, where we're at right now, is probably she is my best friend in the city, and she is a Douce drinker. So when I'm with her, I'm drinking Douce straight up and down. Okay. One of my favorite people to drink with is my cousin KJ. He is a menace, but he's a tequila guy. And so when I'm with him in the summertime, it smells like tequila outside. So that's what we doing. If I'm on on a date or in a business meeting and I have to I want to keep my wits about me, I'm drinking a Negroni because I have to sip it.
Okay.
If I'm enjoying a cigar, it's normally an aged rum or a mezcal.
Okay, so you are real spirits. You got one for every
for every occasion.
Yeah, it's like a different outfit.
I don't drink vodka on a regular basis. And that's about it.
I don't trust vodka drinkers. I feel like you was like real close to going to jail.
It was the first thing I had. You know, you don't have an experience.
Everybody did. Yes.
The first time
drinking
I ever got
Smirnoff and Pinnacle. Lord, we all are traumatized.
Yeah. So I just don't drink it anymore. Even though there are some great vodkas out there, it's just not for me. So,
yeah. Okay. Awesome. And then with you continuing to do the activations that you do with the pop-ups, working in conjunction with the bars and restaurants, and also, you know, working with bartenders and those that are coming up behind those of us that have had the experience, what is something a piece of advice or something that you try to instill those that are coming up in the industry?
This is a craft. I think that it's a trade, you know. My mom, she retired as like the head human resource manager of the city of Detroit. Mm-hmm. And one of the ongoing conversations we have all the time is how the hospitality industry is a new working class in the city. When you talk about Detroit's coming back, or Detroit's a fun place to be, you're talking the fact that you're having a good time in the city, and that's being facilitated by the hospitality workers here. And we're making just as much, if not more, than some of the people working in the plants in the city. So, I mean, I would stand on the fact that I think we're the new working class, and to treat it as such. You know, if you, I know that there's tiers or levels to this thing when it comes to like different bars and different restaurants, but wherever you are, you know, that's your grass, you should water it. And I just feel like taking it seriously and using it as a trade. I always tell people, man, like it's amazing to me the places that shaking the drink has taken me. I have a college degree. I barely, you know, I've learned more behind the stick than I ever did in that university for 5 years. So, I mean, my advice is always just to take it very seriously. Like, read the books, go to the pop-ups, listen to the educations, mix and mingle, like, do the things. This is your trade and you should treat it as such.
I completely agree. You know, I think it is a space now where we're slowly, not just here in Detroit, but just in general, as hospitality professionals, I think we're just now getting to a space where people are starting to like respect us, you know, and it's hard because it's, you know, even like you said, going back to, you know, being here in Detroit and everybody working at the plant, my whole entire family is UAW. You know, I used to work at J-Nap and Shap. Shout out to Shap and J-Nap. Okay. I used to work on the door line, and I left to bartend full time, and everybody told me I was crazy. And now, you know, picking up those shakers has took me across the entire country, across 8 different states, and, you know, no matter what, I feel like we're still in some capacity fighting against people like, you know, well, that's just a starter job or that. And
what else do you do?
What's your real job?
Yeah, what's your real job?
And I think now, like, as people are starting to really understand the craft that goes behind it, the professionalism, just the business side in itself, that we're finally getting to a space and we be like, okay, y'all are actually, you know, real professionals. This is something that you really have to study and put into, especially if you want to, you know, grow and excel at the levels that are available.
You know what did it, I think, was COVID. Taking away people's opportunity to have a good time whenever they want it. And then when it was given back to them, they started to realize, like, man, this person is really like curating this vibe. And that's when you start getting all these pop-ups and stuff, because it wasn't really about what I'm drinking. It's about who's giving it to me and who's all coming to see this person like give us all these drinks type of deal. And I think like the experience gained more value, and once the experience upped its value, you had to start paying attention to who's facilitating that experience. Yeah,
I completely agree with that. And then also, just how do you think that, I will say this, with you, myself, a lot of others that have traveled and that are basically coming back. You know, they're saying it's the Detroit Renaissance of the 2020s of, you know, those of us that have traveled, seen things coming back, but specifically within the hospitality space and all of the conversations that have come around gentrification, the changes that have happened in Detroit, a lot of people not necessarily seeing that in a good way. How do you think the changes that have come about in the last, I would say, 5 years or, post-COVID, do you think that that has impacted the city in a better way, negatively? How do you think that that has shown up in the hospitality space, and especially for native Detroiters that are trying to have a voice or have a space here with all of the new construction, the new bars, the new cocktail spaces? How do you think that that is showing up for us?
I think that gentrification is a word that gets thrown around very loosely. Not to say that it's not happening here, but it also always has like a negative connotation to it. When I feel like you have to give a nod to people who are like going out on a limb to open up a business, regardless of like where they come from. Like being an entrepreneur is hard. Being open in this industry is crazy. It's nuts. So. I think you have to give a nod to that, but it's also opening up opportunities and showing like avenues for native Detroiters who didn't take the leap, who were like, oh, I actually can. They're getting this off over here. Maybe I could do it over here now. I will say that the more restaurants and bars that open up, the more light gets shined on the city. You're starting to see like Michelin star nods, and we got bars in the top 100 in the 50s best and things like that. So I just think that the more of these the more of these incubator bars that pop up doing high concept or even like high-low spaces like Easy Peasy, I think that the more that happens, the bigger the bridge that is built between the neighborhoods and the citizens of the city and the people who are filling the money in, but also just like the bigger spotlight that's being held onto the city.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think sometimes people operate from a comfort zone and get scared or, shut down at the thought of change or put a negative context to it. And I think as someone that has traveled, like, you also want to see all of the dope things that you see when you travel, but you want to see it here in your city.
For sure.
And I think that with all of the new spaces, the expansion that's going on, like you say, the high concepts, I think it is bringing a level of visibility that we haven't had before. And yes, like you say, I want, the kids that go to Persian and the kids, they go to Cas, and no matter where you are in the city, seeing just because you see something opening up in Corktown or downtown, it doesn't mean that that opportunity isn't available to you also. You just have to think outside of a lot of the box that we've been put in.
Absolutely.
So I agree with you on that. What do you have coming up? Do you have anything in concept? Are you planning anything cool we should know about?
Yeah. The big ticket right now for me is Tales of the Cocktail. That's our Super Bowl. It's like what it is. But then on the home front, like I mentioned, I'm the beverage director for Hospitality Included. And our festival is happening this year, August 16th, at the Detroit Food Co-op.
Okay.
So that's the biggest thing. It's basically our version of the Taste of Detroit. We have over 50 vendors. We have 8 different bars being represented. It's gonna be a time. It's gonna be a good look.
I seen that. I'm super excited. I listen, living in Chicago for 5 years would be like, we don't have enough street festivals, okay? 'Cause they got a street festival for everything in Chicago. So, no, that's super dope. Well, awesome. Well, can you just let everybody know where to find you, how to follow you, and just keep up to date with what you got going on?
You can follow me in all my doings on Instagram at Chris and Glory Cocktail. So it's Glory with the I, so it's Chris and Glory _ cocktails on IG.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me.
Thank you for having me.
Once again, it's so nice to meet you in person. I'm pretty sure we're going to be all up in the mix right now going forward. But no, it's super dope. And thank you so much. And thank you for what you're doing for the city.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.